Chapter 1 Trainee Police Officer. You are listening at NovelsNew. A police car was driving on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, New York. Link controlled the steering wheel. As a trainee police officer, it was not easy for him to touch the steering wheel. Sitting in the passenger seat was his instructor, Detective Rami Bellin, but today he was wearing plain clothes. During the one-year internship period, the instructor will wear plain clothes for one day and then sit in the passenger seat without saying a word. The trainee police officers will patrol by themselves and handle all cases encountered. This time point is basically when the internship period is about to end. Many trainee police officers will fall here and say goodbye to the life of a police officer after working hard for several months. Link was very calm and drove the police car all the way, conducting daily patrols according to the patrol routes of the previous months. He was also lucky today. He didn't receive a single police report or encounter any illegal vehicles. The police car came to an intersection, and the signal light in front turned red. Link parked the police car behind a Ford sedan, then reached out to the onboard computer and entered the license plate number of the vehicle in front. Randomly checking license plate numbers is a common thing because there are too many vehicles in the United States, and many of them do not meet road standards. In addition, there are a large number of wanted criminals, fugitives, etc., who all drive vehicles. Random inspections have been proven and can indeed find people. Link was stunned for a moment after entering the license plate number. There was no information about the vehicle ahead in the police database, which was strange. However, he did not turn on the sirens and lights immediately because he could not park here, so after the traffic light turned green, Link followed the other vehicle directly. At a place where there were slightly fewer vehicles ahead, the police lights and siren were turned on. When the police siren sounded, the driver in front saw the police car behind him, so he turned on the turn signal. Link also turned on the turn signal, blocking the lane behind the other party and preventing a vehicle from rushing over and rear-ending him. A kind of protection for the car. However, Link pulled some distance away and kept a safe distance. When the other vehicle stopped, he unbuckled his seatbelt and pushed the door to get out of the car. The right hand is placed on the holster on the right waist. It is a Glock 19, which is a pocket version of the Glock 17, but it also has a 15-round standard magazine. There are two spare magazines in front of Link's left waist. Link was on the left, coming to the side and behind the opponent's driver's seat, using the B-pillar of the vehicle to protect himself. His instructor was on the right. The other party had already opened the car window and took out his driver's license. Only then did Link see clearly that the driver was a black woman, but the other party was dressed very formally and should have a formal job. Link didn't take the other person's driver's license immediately, but bent down and looked at the other person and said, "Madam, the reason why I stopped your vehicle is because I couldn't find the information about this car in the police database." As a police officer, he must inform the other party of the reason for ordering the stop. The black woman did not panic, but asked, "Why are you checking my license plate number?" Her question was very provocative. If Link didn't give enough reasons, she could sue Link for racial discrimination. Link didn't panic and still didn't accept the other party's driver's license because he didn't order the other party to produce his ID. Randomly checking, at the position of the previous traffic light, I happened to park behind you, and then entered the license plate number of the vehicle in front. This is our police practice. Link then said, "Of course, this is not the only situation. Such as improperly registered motels, unusually driven vehicles, etc. Random inspection is a common method." Understood. The woman nodded, but she still held up her driver's license. Link asked at this time, "Is this car yours?" "No, this is my workplace's car." The woman said, "It's an official vehicle." "Okay, please show me your driver's license." After finishing speaking, Link reached out and took the driver's license. After looking at it, he turned around and walked back to his police car. This black woman must be from the government department, maybe from the legal department. There are traps in the conversation, and ordinary veterans may not be able to handle it, but when she meets herself, she should stop thinking about being a monster. She is not an ordinary person. Link called the main station and asked the main station to check the license plate information. At the same time, he entered the woman's ID into the car computer. Sure enough, this woman was the prosecutor of the district court. the main station also failed to find the license plate information. Link prompted the main station to ask the local court, and this time he got the information. This car was a confidential vehicle, this matter is not under Link's control. Although this situation is rare, there is a problem and it is out of touch with the police database, but it is not something that Link, a trainee police officer, can take care of. Coming back with the other party's driver's license and handing it back to the other party, Link said, "Madam, you can leave now." "No problem." The woman was still playing with language. After verification by the main station, this car is a confidential vehicle of the district court. Link said, "The district court has made a guarantee, so you have no problem now and can leave." "I understand, but I will reserve the right to pursue it." "This girl probably feels embarrassed, right?" "Of course, this is your right." After Link finished speaking, he turned around and left, ignoring him. His instructor, Rami Varan, still didn't speak. The two returned to the car. Link started the vehicle, and then continued his patrol. This shift was the day shift, but they worked for 12 hours and didn't return to the police station until 8 o'clock in the evening. However, they were immediately called by the captain. "Tell me what happened today." The captain got straight to the point. It seemed that the prosecutor had called. Link recounted the story, and then Rami Varan also recounted it. After listening, the captain felt that there was no problem. Link then said, "When checking the license plate number, it was at the entrance of the XXX traffic light. The surveillance there should be able to capture it." "I know, you two can go off work." The captain waved his hand and let them leave. Link didn't ask about his performance today. That was the instructor's business. As long as he was not expelled tomorrow, there would probably be no problem. Indeed, there was no problem. Link quickly became a formal police officer, but he was transferred from the current police station. He needed to report to the West Midtown branch, which was the famous Hell's Kitchen. Link didn't complain, appeal, or yell about how unfair it was. Instead, he sorted out his locker, packed up his police uniform, and left happily. Hell's Kitchen, where there are many gangs, crimes are endless, and there are always gang fights, which is extremely dangerous. Chapter 2 Police Situation. You are listening at NovelsNew. Link is not afraid of the chaos in Hell's Kitchen because he is strong enough. As a time traveler, he has his own golden finger and a superhuman body. Just a year ago, the original owner Link graduated from the police academy and celebrated with his classmates at night. As a result, he drank too much and accidentally fell on the roadside on the way home, and the same soul named Link occupied his body and devoured his soul. From then on, Link changed. When he got up from the ground and returned home according to the original owner's memory, this was a 3-story townhouse built in the 1950s, 1 door and 1 household. Link was the only one in his home. The original owner's parents had a car accident a year ago, leaving behind a house and some savings, and then received a huge insurance compensation. Link quickly adapted to his new identity, but then checked some news and found that there was Stark Industries and Tony Stark himself in this world. This is clear. As the guiding light of the Marvel Universe, Tony Stark has become the most dazzling beacon here with his high-profile style. This made Link panic. He tossed and turned until the early morning before he fell asleep. When he woke up, the sun shone in the bedroom, making him warm all over. He was sealed in the bed for a while. As a result, his body soon produced some reactions. His body seemed to be constantly strengthening. This discovery made him a little confused. Without a system, he had to figure everything out by himself. In the following days, Link worked hard to complete his internship on the one hand, and continued to bask in the sun on the other hand. Fortunately, he was patrolling on the street, and even if he was sitting in the car, the sun could still shine on him. When he was resting, he basked in the sun in his bedroom. With the emergence of some abilities, such as X-sight, super hearing, etc., he was sure that he had a Superman's body. So, when going to Hell's Kitchen, it should not be himself who should be worried, but those guys. Link did not have the idea of becoming a superhero. He would not seek trouble for no reason. His idea was to find an opportunity to get an infinite gem, and then fight them to death. After Link arrived at the West Midtown police station, he was assigned to a separate group. In other words, he, a newly promoted police officer, had to drive a police car to patrol. The salary of police officers in New York is not high. College graduates like Link can get a starting salary of more than 50,000 yuan, which is an annual salary. However, in the international metropolis of New York, this little money is really not much. Of course, there are also high overtime pay, which is also the main source of income, but the account is not calculated in this way. American police are originally a high-risk profession. In this country where guns are rampant, you don't know who has a gun and who will suddenly pull out a gun and shoot you. Working under this red high pressure, working 12 hours per shift, this high-intensity work pressure makes many people unwilling to be New York police officers. Therefore, the police force has always been insufficient, especially in the West Midtown police station. It is difficult to have all two people in a group in the famous Hell's Kitchen. Link's arrival just adds one more person, and it is said that he offended the local prosecutor, so he simply let Link be in a group by himself. Anyway, he is a formal police officer. Link didn't care about it. He received a Glock 19 as his police gun and bought a Glock 26 as a personal gun. This is a firearm that can be worn after get off work. When working, it is usually placed at the ankle to hide. The first few days of day shifts were fine, but trouble came when the night shift came. At 8 o'clock in the evening, Link drove the police car out of the police station and drove towards his patrol route. Hell's Kitchen at night was very dangerous, and gunshots could be heard faintly. Link kept listening to the radio and drove slowly on the street, looking back and forth. Except for some vehicles, no one could be seen on the street, but Link's eyes let him clearly see some people hiding in the darkness. They were dressed like some street thugs. They hid far away when they saw the police car. When the police car passed, they came out to party again. Attention all personnel, a gunfight has occurred in the XXX block. Police officers nearby, please go immediately. A voice suddenly came from the main station. After Link heard it, he picked up the microphone to inform that he would go, then turned on the police lights and sirens, turned the steering wheel, stepped on the accelerator to the bottom, and rushed out directly. When he approached, he heard gunshots from a distance. It was very chaotic. Link turned on super hearing to determine the situation ahead. This was a fight between the Russian gang and the Irish gang. The strength of both gangs was not weak, and they competed fiercely in the call girl industry, especially some high-end customer groups. They paid a lot of money, but their requirements were also high, and they even had some special fetishes. This information was naturally not said by the two warring gangs, but by the patrol police officers who were watching the excitement nearby. The moment Link turned on super hearing, a lot of voices gathered. The nearby patrol police officers did not rush to the scene as quickly as he did, but turned on the sirens and then drove around in police cars. The highlight is the creation of a tense atmosphere. But I just don't get involved. You can do whatever you want. Link wanted to step on the brakes, but his right foot never left the accelerator and continued to move forward at high speed. He was new here and was sent to Hell's Kitchen because he offended a local prosecutor. The prosecutor is responsible for reviewing the case. The police arrest the suspect, then investigate, collect evidence, and complete the chain of evidence before submitting it to the prosecutor. If the prosecutor reviews the case and there is no problem, then he can file a lawsuit. It can be said that this is strangling the police. Link is now a policeman. He needs a job. Of course, he can also not work. He will not lack money with his superpowers. He can get rich by going to Las Vegas, but he is also easy to be targeted. People always have to find something to do. For him, there will be no lack of wealth, and he doesn't have to fight for wealth. Then find an interesting job. The profession of police, especially American police, makes him feel very interesting. If he gets tired of it one day, he can resign, but now is the fresh time. Buzz the accelerator is stepped on the bottom, the police car roars, and Link quickly arrives at the location of the exchange of fire. In a restaurant ahead, a group of people used vehicles as cover outside and kept firing at the inside. This is a restaurant belonging to the Russian gang. Although the firepower of the Irish gang is strong, they are just gangsters after all, not soldiers, and they have never rushed in. Link pointed the front of the car at the Irish gang, then pushed the door and got out, pulling out his gun and pointing it forward. NYPD. Chapter 3 Killing God. You are listening at NovelsNew.Audio. Is this a rookie? The leader of the Irish gang was surprised to see a police car with only one police officer getting off. Only a rookie would rush over like this in Hell's Kitchen. NYPD, put down your weapons. Link shouted again. Kill him. These gangs don't care about the police. Although it will be troublesome, it's not a big problem. Bang bang. Immediately, several people turned their guns and shot at Link. Link was not in a hurry. He lowered his head and hid behind the car door. The front two doors of each police car were equipped with bulletproof steel plates. Call the main station. There was an exchange of fire. The other side shot at me, requesting support. Link reported the situation calmly. Others want to watch the show. That's impossible. Now I am at the scene, and the gang opened fire on me, which means they opened fire on the police. You can choose not to support, but the subsequent problems will be big. After all, the police are our own people. If you don't support others today, will others support you tomorrow? After Link reported, he turned on his X-ray vision and looked forward through the car door. After firing a few shots at him, the gang members ignored him. How careless. Link muttered, then stood up, holding the gun with both hands and fired. Bang bang. He fired continuously. The pistol did not move in his hand, as if there was no recoil at all, and the bullets flew towards the target one by one. Puff puff. One by one, the heads were hit, and the red and white ones scattered out together. In an instant, most of the members of the Irish gang were cleared out, and the firepower dropped sharply. The rest reacted and turned their heads to look over, and found that their companions fell to the ground. Damn it! The leader was dumbfounded, but he was not stupid. Retreat. They wanted to run. Bang. Link heard it clearly, and another shot was fired in an instant, directly killing the leader who gave the order. NYPD, put down your weapons. Link warned again. Multiple warnings are necessary. This is a problem of procedure. Link never makes mistakes in the procedure. The remaining members of the Irish gang were scared. Some of them dropped their weapons and raised their hands. The opponent's shooting was too accurate. Who can bear being shot in the head? With someone taking the lead, the others would naturally not resist. They were just caught by the police, which they were familiar with, but they didn't need to be shot in the head. They stood up, but they forgot that the Russian gang members in the restaurant were still there. The firepower suddenly decreased, and then they saw the guy who attacked them raised his hands and stood up. They were already bloodthirsty and didn't care why. They picked up their weapons and rushed out. Bang. Various weapons fired, instantly destroying the Irish, and directly emptied their magazines. They didn't look in Link's direction. After changing the magazines, they were ready to go up and shoot. NYPD, put down your weapons. Link shouted again at this time, attracting the other party's attention. They turned around, and at this time their guns were aimed at Link, and Link fired decisively. Bang, bang. This time he controlled the firing rate and only killed 2 people, giving others time. Subconsciously, some of them fired in Link's direction. Link saw several bullets flying towards him, but none of them could hit him, but some hit the police car. He then continued to pull the trigger, ending all their lives. For a while, the surroundings were unusually quiet except for the sound of sirens. Link knew that there were almost no living people at this time, only a few seriously injured people lying on the ground groaning. He reported the situation to the main station again, announcing that the place had been controlled and a large number of ambulances were needed, and then he walked over with a gun in his hand. The surrounding patrol teams arrived at the scene one after another, and they secretly cursed Link in their hearts. This rookie who had just been promoted really didn't know how to behave, but it was also true that this man had just arrived, and he was in his own group, and no one taught him the rules of Hell's Kitchen. It was not easy to be a policeman here, especially when the salary was so low. What was there to fight for? When they came here, they found that the gunfight seemed to be over, and the rookie was searching the scene, so everyone got out of the car. Hey, rookie. Link turned around and smiled at the other party, saying, you came just in time. I was just worrying about how to deal with the scene. Link put his gun back into the holster, and then took off his duty belt. I shot and killed a lot of people. Who is in charge of the scene? that the police officers were all stunned. They hurried forward to check the situation. There were only a few seriously injured bodies on the ground, and they were breathing less and breathing more. Link was sent back to the branch. At this time, the people in the branch looked at him with a shocked expression. There were more than 40 people in the two gangs at the scene, and only 3 were alive for the time being. The reason why it was temporary was that it depended on the effect of the rescue. It was uncertain whether they could be rescued, and Link took the commander on the scene and described in detail what he did at the time and the number of people he shot and killed, more than 20 people. This is terrible. People from the Ministry of Internal Affairs have arrived, and the police union and union lawyers have also arrived. The union and lawyers are on his side, but Link still has to accept inquiries from the Ministry of Internal Affairs. He has no right to remain silent. If he remains silent, he will need to give up his job. Police Officer Keith Lin, can you describe the situation at the scene in detail? Someone from the Ministry of Internal Affairs asked. Link directly began to describe the specific situation in detail, from receiving the news from the main station to receiving the police call himself, all the way to the end. Originally, I had controlled the gunmen outside the restaurant, but the people in the restaurant suddenly rushed out and shot at these people. Link finally said, I can only warn again, but there are 8 of them, and each of them holds a gun. Weapons were pointed at me. I can only kill them. That the person from the Ministry of Internal Affairs said again, why did you shoot him in the head? According to regulations, police officers give priority to protecting themselves, and at the same time, they have the right to kill suspects when facing threats. Link said, there were more than 40 people at the scene, so there were even more weapons. I was only one person, and it was my first time to shoot. It is to deter the other party and also to reduce their threat. The second shooting was more for self-protection. The power of Glock 1 caliber pistol bullets is too low. If the target is a larger torso, it will be difficult to effectively eliminate the threat. The Ministry of Internal Affairs officer asked again, are you confident in your marksmanship? Yes, I am full of confidence in my marksmanship, and the scene will not give me too much time to think. My chance may only be once. Link showed strong confidence. Chapter 4 Administrative Leave. You are listening at NovelsNew. The Internal Affairs Department didn't have many questions. They were mainly aimed at verifying the situation at the scene. They would then compare it with the investigation results at the scene to see if Link had lied. Killing gang members is not a big deal, as long as the procedure is legal, and not everyone on the scene is killed by Link. According to Link, he has controlled the situation outside, but he is only one person, so it is not easy. If it were normal times, then this matter could be publicized, but not now. Too many people have died, so it is best to keep a low profile. The union and the lawyer asked Link if he needed more help, but Link refused directly. There was no problem with his procedures, and this time, I mainly want to establish my authority, whether it is in the West Central City branch or in Hell's Kitchen, to let them know how powerful I am, which will reduce a lot of trouble in the future, and it will be much easier to investigate cases in the future. After being questioned, Link went to the locker room, took off his police uniform, and hung it in the cabinet. He was wearing a white cotton t-shirt that clung tightly to his body, outlining his muscles. He was wearing dark blue jeans and a pair of brown Martin boots. He is 1.85 meters tall and has a slender figure. His muscles are not the explosive type. Wear the X-type armpit holster on your body, and put your Glock 26 in the right armpit holster. There are 2 spare magazines on the left side. Finally, he put on a brown leather jacket, put the police badge on his belt, and took out a helmet from the closet. He doesn't drive but rides a motorcycle to and from get off work. Just one policeman. A meeting was being held in the Irish gang's headquarters, but their temper was not very good. Today was originally a successful attack. They were well prepared and caught their opponents off guard. Before taking action, he also sent out people to snatch the girl controlled by the other party. As a result, they failed. More than 30 people died, and their own strength dropped a lot. Yes, according to the police officer we bribed, there is only one Chinese police officer who has just become a full-time officer. He deserves to die. I want all his information, and I will kill him within 3 days. Regardless of whether the Irish were angry or the Russians were angry, they were attacked, but the last man was killed by a policeman. They don't know which side to deal with first now, but a lot of their girls have been taken away, so they might as well snatch the girls back first. Those are their cash cows. Now that they don't have a girl, how can they start work? Link was placed on temporary administrative leave, but only for a few days, because the situation at the scene was very clear and there was no doubt. The sun shone on the bed in the bedroom. Link squinted slightly, lifted the quilt, and let his whole body bathe in the sun. He stretched lazily and felt comfortable all over, but he still got up and was ready to find a house. Yes, he is planning to sell the house here. After all, he has come from time and space and has no feelings for this house. Moreover, the decoration in the house is a bit old. At the same time, he does not like this kind of residence. The most important thing is that he is the only one living here and needs to take care of it by himself. This house is so lifelike, with so many different things, it's not easy for him to deal with or renovate it. His current job is in Manhattan, which is far away. His home is in Queens, so it would be better to buy a high-rise apartment in Manhattan with housekeeping service. Of course, the price is definitely not cheap. Now he has hundreds of thousands of dollars in his hands. He had paid a large amount of inheritance tax before, which made him complain for a long time. Go check out the house first, preferably on the top floor, so that he can get better exposure to the sun. This is the key place. No one can stop a Superman from sunbathing. After getting up and washing up, Link made breakfast for himself, and then rode his motorcycle straight to Manhattan. He actually wanted to go to Las Vegas, but he was on administrative leave and couldn't leave New York. He can only go and see how the house is doing. If it doesn't work, he can get a loan first, which may be more normal. Then he waited until the holidays, went to Las Vegas for vacation, won a large sum of money, and came back to repay the loan. Try not to be too abrupt. Plans and other things always change quickly, so we'll see what happens when the time comes. Anyway, you don't have to spend money to look at a house. The real estate agent who made the appointment was already waiting for him at the company and was very enthusiastic about Link. After all, Link requested a penthouse apartment in Manhattan. Without knowing Link's job, the agent filled up a lot of information in his head. Of course, Link still needs to stay away from the Stark Tower under construction to avoid future Chitauri attacks. Mr. Lin, these are the apartments I have selected for you. The agent has already prepared, and the information about several apartments that meet the requirements, including some photos, maps, surrounding environments, etc., are all displayed. Link was very satisfied. This could save a lot of time, and he looked at it seriously. There are old ones and new ones. They are all penthouse apartments. Of course, the prices are not low. The cheapest ones cost more than $1 million, and the expensive ones cost tens of millions. This was the fall of 2006. $10 million at this time was a lot of money, and it could double or triple in value in the future, especially after the Chitauri attack. Link mainly looked at the conditions and ignored the price. One of the apartments caught his eye. The ceiling of the living room on the top floor was made of glass. The entire apartment building has 18 floors, with 2 elevators in total. There are 3 households on each floor, and the apartment types are different. The 3 households on the top floor share the rooftop. The 3 apartment types are different in size and price. For a single person like Link, he can live in the smallest apartment, but that is also a layout of 3 bedrooms, 2 living rooms, 3 bathrooms, and 1 kitchen. In addition, the master bedroom has a cloakroom. As for the storage room, it is not included, but it is inevitable. There is a large living room at the entrance. The ceiling here is glass, and sunlight shines in during the day. The apartment has not been renovated yet, but it is sold first, because the decoration will be modified according to the needs of the buyer. The whole apartment is renovated at the same time, and private decoration is not allowed. The apartment in America is not yours to decide once you buy it. There are many requirements and regulations. Even after moving in, an owner's committee will be established. In the future, if you want to sell the apartment, the buyer still needs the review of the owner's committee, otherwise you can't sell it. Link was attracted by the glass roof, so he took out the information and asked, "Can we go take a look here? I like this glass roof very much. It would be best if I could go up to the rooftop to take a look." Chapter 5 Buying and Selling Houses. You are listening at NovelsNew. Of course there is no problem. The entire apartment has just started to be sold, and it has complete property management and services. The agent immediately said enthusiastically, Mr. Lin is single, and the smallest apartment is very suitable for you. And the apartment has housekeeping services, but the overall decoration style of the apartment has been determined, so the owner can only make adjustments in terms of functionality. For example, 3 houses can be used as bedrooms and studies. Is this acceptable to you? No problem. Link nodded and said, I don't have any artistic skills, so I am more willing to trust designers, as long as the quality is good. Of course, you can rest assured on this. The agent stood up immediately. Shall we leave now? Are you driving? Mine is a motorcycle. Let's go directly to the apartment to meet up. Link said, if you are satisfied, I will not look at anything else and directly make an appointment with my lawyer. We can sign the contract at an agreed time. But I want to know about the payment method. After all, the house I live in still needs to be sold. Can I pay the deposit first? Of course, we have a variety of payment methods, and we can also handle loan business for you. The broker doesn't care about the payment method at all. As long as Link signs the contract, he can get the commission. Link was one step ahead on his motorcycle, while the agent drove his own car, so Link got there first. This apartment is located southeast of Central Park. The location is extremely advantageous. If Link buys the penthouse apartment, he can overlook Central Park from his home. The land around the central apartments has always been in short supply. If you buy a piece of it, you will make a fortune. The smallest one that Link is interested in has an area of more than 220 square meters and a price of $2.4 million. It has luxurious decoration, furniture, and soft furnishings. The price is equivalent to more than $10,000 per square meter. It's definitely not cheap in this day and age. Link feels pretty good. Counting the cash and the sale of his own house, the money is almost enough. In this way, he doesn't need to win much to go to Las Vegas, just a few $100,000 is enough, and the purchasing power of $1 is very strong. However, Link carefully turned on his X-Vision and looked at the entire apartment up and down. There was no problem with the quality at all, so he was sure. This is really nice. It seems I don't need to see anything else. Link said to the real estate agent. This is a wise decision. If you look too much, you will have too much hesitation. The agent was happy at this time and praised Link. By the way, how are you going to pay? Deposit, and then I will start selling the current house. Link said, naturally. The agent was unwilling to miss this opportunity and immediately asked, can I ask where you currently live? Of course, I live on XXX Street in Queens. It is a middle-class community. The 3-story apartments were built in the 1950s and should be sold for more than $1 million. Link introduced the situation, then still left behind by my parents. So that's where it is. As expected of a real estate agent, he immediately knew the specific location. Mr. Lin, you are so lucky. This development company has purchased the house there. Huh? Link was stunned. The development company is acquiring the property? Yes, they not only develop, but also rent. The other party introduced, they have a lot of properties in your neighborhood. This kind of acquisition has always happened, but it is also based on location selection. For example, in your place, the buildings are generally from the 1940s and 1950s, and the location and surrounding environment are good, so they will acquire it. Normally they can be rented out, but after acquiring a certain amount, they will develop it. Link suddenly realized that land in New York, especially in Manhattan, was hard to come by, and the competition was fierce. A real estate development company alone cannot survive by selling houses. Every project is strived for excellence and strives to maximize benefits. Moreover, other income is needed to maintain the operation of the company. What about the price? Link asked. Their purchase price won't be too high, right? No, the price is usually the market price, or even a little more. After all, they make money by renting it out, and it is for the benefit of the future. The real estate agent said, and now it is very convenient for you, you can stay here forever. Finished here. Okay, then let's talk to them, but won't you make any commission? Link asked, how can a real estate agent like this not earn a commission? Lin Xincheng, our real estate agency also belongs to this development company. The agent relieved Link's doubts. It seems that he still doesn't know much about business matters, but it doesn't matter. Since it's convenient for him, he doesn't need to hesitate. Yes, as long as the price is right. Link agreed immediately. The next thing is simple. The other party offered Link's current house a price of $1.8 million. This price is not low, but Link owns the land property rights, and the development company values this property rights. Of course, it turns out that this apartment was purchased for just over $10,000. It was in the 1950s and was purchased by the grandfather of the original owner. Link agreed directly, and the transaction went very smoothly. Link could continue to live there without paying rent. Then Link signed a contract to buy the top-floor apartment, and then communicated with the design team of the open company. The overall style is fixed, and Link will not dwell on the style issue. He adjusted the functions of some rooms. One of the public toilets was changed into a laundry room. With such a minor adjustment, he did not need so many toilets. Link was not a Native American, and he did not like to hold any parties at home. He would rather spend money to hold it outside if necessary. Link himself is a homebody, and his reason is not bad, basking in the sun. The only problem now is that Link has no money. Of course, it may be enough for life, but after moving into the apartment, he can't afford the annual property fee alone, but there is no hurry now. He uses the remaining rest time to start sorting out the things at home. The furniture does not need to be moved. These have been acquired by the development company, so they can rent them out directly, just some simple repair work. After all, the long-term goal here is to develop new real estate projects, and decoration is a huge waste. Chapter 6 Paid Vacation. You are listening at NovelsNew. He sorted out the things at home, donated his parents' clothes and other things, and donated some of his own clothes. He now wears police uniforms most of the time. He usually wears jeans, leather jackets, and t-shirts for rest. Because of his strong body, the winter in New York has no effect on him, and it also conforms to the dressing habits of people here. Link is reducing the burden of moving, such as not moving electrical appliances, and he will not even carry kitchen utensils. He sorted out the most photos, and he would not throw them away. After all, they occupied everything of the original owner, and they always had to leave traces of their existence for their family, and at the same time, they also gave him a sense of existence. He carefully sorted out these photos, and bought a lot of photo albums to put them up. When he moved to the new home, he could use some photo frames to decorate the house. In the future, when he has children, he will also give them a place to go. This is something that is deeply rooted in the bones of Chinese people, especially since Link came here halfway. There are not many things left, such as most of the original owner's childhood things that have to be thrown away or donated. In the end, he did keep the tableware and tea sets. These were carefully matched by the original owner's mother, so he was reluctant to throw them away. They were very exquisite. Link, you have to come to the bureau. The captain called Link. Link was very surprised. He was not notified to go back to work, but to go to the branch. Is there any change in this matter? Riding on a motorcycle, he came to the West Midtown branch and found that the government affairs, unions, and lawyers were all there. Link asked curiously, is the on-site investigation result inconsistent with what I said? No. The captain asked him to sit down. Your case has been investigated clearly, there is no problem, and you should have resumed work today. But the captain looked at him and then said, the Irish gang sent a message to deal with you. This is a provocation to us. Link suddenly realized that this matter, I am not afraid of them, and I am in a group by myself, and I will not implicate my colleagues. Let them come to me. No, Link, this is not a matter of one person. The person from the Ministry of Internal Affairs stood up and said, this is a provocation to the entire New York police. We will never allow this to happen. Yes. The union also spoke. The morale is already low. If you get into trouble again, the morale of the entire New York police will be gone. There is a thorn in his words, but the people here are not responsible for the salary issue, so it is useless for him to be thorny, the lawyer said. You have the right to apply for protection. The captain said, the opinion of the general administration is to give you paid leave. You should know that many people in our branch have not had a leave for several years. After you take this leave, it will be difficult to have a chance in the future. Okay, the staff shortage is so severe. Link laughed and said, okay, I am willing to take a leave. It just so happens that I want to go to Las Vegas, where I have never been. In addition, I don't need protection, but since they want to retaliate against me, why haven't they made any moves until now? That the captain explained, the Russian gang went to war with them because a group of their girls were robbed by the other side. On the night of the gunfight, they disguised themselves as players and called to lure people out. Now the two sides are fighting very fiercely. Let me tell you a secret. We are going to take action against the Irish. At that time, a large number of police officers will be temporarily seconded to let them know who is in charge in New York. Link nodded to show that he understood. He left the branch and took a half-month paid leave. Anyway, he didn't lose anything, but these guys still didn't know how powerful they were. He would deal with them later. After returning home, he laughed again as he looked at the things he had sorted out, and said exaggeratedly, is my superpower luck? That he looked up the casino hotels in Las Vegas directly, found the most luxurious one, and booked a mid-range room, which was in line with his identity and job. He immediately ordered a flight ticket for the afternoon, and he set off with a travel bag. He arrived in Las Vegas at night, took a taxi from the airport, and saw the dazzling neon lights of the city along the way. Now the day's life here has just begun. He didn't have much money when he checked into the hotel. He was waiting for his salary, but now he couldn't even afford the room rent. But it didn't matter at all. He had a few $100s in cash in his hand. Link didn't use a credit card. Although he had one, it was from the original owner, but he tried not to use it now. There were too many credit card traps, loan traps, etc. in the bank. He liked to save money, even if the interest rate was low, so what? Of course, maybe he could buy some stocks and leave them alone, but he didn't have money now. He went to the restaurant for a luxurious meal. There was food, drink, and entertainment here, so he just kept a record. Link then went straight to the casino and exchanged $300 worth of chips. Each chip was $10. Then he strolled around here. He wanted to see what he should play. After all, he couldn't be too conspicuous. Of course he must win more. It's not easy to come here once, but he also has to do some concealment and become a lucky person. After a circle, he came to the table for gambling on big and small, which was very simple, and there were many people gathered, so he could make some money first. He checked with his X-ray vision and found that the casino had no traps, so he started playing without hesitation. Bet big or down. This is very simple. Before each opening, the probability is 50 to 50. He bet 5 chips every time, and won more than lost. Soon he had accumulated several $1,000s. He asked the dealer to change the chips. Each chip was $100, so the chips became only dozens. He took it and left. He wanted to change the way to play, and 21 points would be good. The original owner studied psychology in college. After graduation, he did not become a psychologist, but a policeman. Psychology is also useful for the police profession. He was assigned to the general administration when he was assigned, which is very telling, but Link didn't care much about this aspect, and if he had let the prosecutor go that day, his instructor would have a reason to expel him. It's hard to say how this happened. Today, Link arrived late, so he didn't play for long, but he already had more than $20,000 in chips, which he deposited directly in the casino, and went back to rest empty-handed. He enjoyed the high-end bathtub here, and then fell asleep early. He would have a good time starting tomorrow. The next morning, after breakfast, Link rented the hotel's car and driver to take him to Las Vegas. In fact, there was not much to see. Most of them were hotels. This was a city built in the desert. At noon, he returned to the hotel, ordered a big meal, and went to the swimming pool to kill time in the afternoon. Chapter 7, Card Game. You are listening at NovelsNew.Audio. Wearing swimming trunks, the muscles on his body attracted the attention of many beautiful women, as well as many rich women. Many of them came up to say hello, but Link rejected them. He doesn't like the women here very much. Who are the women here? Everyone knows clearly that Link is not willing to clean the sewers for others. Swimming was secondary, he was enjoying the sun. The sun in Las Vegas was so great that it made him feel like his body was active. It wasn't until dinner time that he went back to the room to take a shower, and then after enjoying a rich dinner, he went straight to the casino. Funds were accumulating. He didn't stay in the casino all the time. There were large-scale song and dance performances in the hotel every night. When Link's funds reached $100,000, he stopped and went to watch the show. Anyway, his vacation only lasts for half a month, so he can take his time. However, although he did not win much money, he also attracted the attention of the casino. Specialized personnel analyzed him and found that he liked to observe other people's expressions when playing blackjack. Soon the casino retrieved his information. All the shareholders here were very energetic, and Link's information was quickly found. A bachelor's degree in psychology is actually equivalent to graduating from college and then becoming a police officer. After graduating from college, he joined the New York Police Department. He performed well during the internship, and after becoming a full-time employee, he did something big. This is a murderous god. He came to Las Vegas because the New York Police Department was protecting him, therefore, they temporarily listed Link as the target of observation. The other party showed no signs of cheating. It was more like a psychological effect, and he was used to observing other people's expressions to judge the opponent's cards. Link doesn't know this, and even if he does, he doesn't care. After all, no one can discover his superpowers. The song and dance performances are very exciting, and the programs are changed regularly here, so you will never be bored, but everything here is full of money. Link went to the swimming pool to bask in the sun during the day, and at night he went to the casino to win some money, and then he looked for programs to watch. Some famous talk shows were also available here, and Link watched a few. The casino has been keeping an eye on him. This is a guy who is on vacation, and his psychology is good. At this time, Link had changed his game and went to play Texas Hold'em. Blackjack still requires a lot of luck, while Texas Hold'em is more of a game. Link feels very good. He has been applying the original master's psychology here in the past few days. Superman already has a super brain, but he doesn't use it, but Link knows how to use it. Psychology is so easy to use, so he is naturally unwilling to give up. It is very helpful to him and can even explain many problems. Here he started to kill everyone. He had an excuse, and it was a good excuse. His psychology was integrated a lot and played a big role. The S.H.I.E.L.D. was more like a guaranteed trump card. In this way, he actually won $5 million, and the casino finally took action. Of course, it was not asking him to leave, but inviting him to participate in a bigger poker game. The casino organizes some big customers, or the big customers themselves request to organize card games. As soon as Link heard his interest, he readily accepted the invitation. The time was set to start at 8 o'clock tomorrow night and end at midnight, a total of 4 hours. After dinner the next day, Link was invited into the VIP box at 7:30 in the evening, but he was the only one there at this time. He didn't complain about this, which was in line with his current status. He didn't wait around, but became interested in the high-end drinks and cigars prepared here. He asked the bunny girl on the side in detail. This is a top-quality Cuban cigar. Of course it is not the most expensive, but the hotel has also spent a lot of money. There are dozens of high-end drinks here. Link asked in great detail how to bake the tobacco to stimulate the aroma, take a puff and then spit it out without passing through the lungs. Of course, some people can pass the lungs, but such people are very rare. The ingredients inside are ineffective for Link, so he only needs the fragrance. Then choose a drunken pairing to see which flavor suits you best. Link unexpectedly liked the plum-flavored bourbon the most. This is a type of whiskey with different prices. Link remembered the brand, then took a bottle and went to enjoy it on the sofa nearby. Anyway, it's free, and he can't get drunk. Even Captain America can't get drunk, let alone him. Time passed slowly, but Link didn't seem bored. It wasn't until 7:50 that the door to the box opened again. The remaining people walked in one after another, and the one at the front turned out to be Tony Stark, and he was quarreling with others. Hammer, you will lose today. The person quarreling with him was Justin Hammer, the chairman of the Hammer Group. Following them were two white people, a man and a woman. The man was extremely tall and strong, more than 1.9 meters tall. He held a cane in his hand and had a bald head. The woman looks quite young, at least 50 or 60 years old, but her temperament is very outstanding. Several people took their seats. The man and woman sat side by side on the left side of the stage, while Hammer and Stark sat on the right side, leaving a space in the middle. Hey, where's the last person? Stark couldn't wait to ask, you said you found a master. Mr. Stark, Mr. Lin has been here a long time ago. The manager stretched out his hand, and then Stark saw Link. Link was holding a bottle of bourbon glass and half a cigar in his mouth. The cigar burns very slowly, and the aroma is lingering, so it is naturally slow to smoke. Link came over, and someone put the ashtray in front of him, and Link sat down in the middle. He said, Mr. Tony Stark, Mr. Justin Hammer, I don't know these two, but I can tell from their temperament that they are quite wealthy. I am the poorest here. $5 million is a small number for them, which is not fair. The manager smiled and said, let me introduce you to Mr. Keith Lin. He won $5 million with $300 in a few days. He is a master of psychology. Mr. Lin, let me introduce the other two. This is Mr. Wilson Fisk and Mrs. Alexandra Reed. This game will last for 4 hours, and each person will have 5 million chips. Do you want to start? Stark nodded and said, let's start. Since there is a master, let me see his quality. Stark is a person with a strong desire to win. Link didn't say anything. He knew that the casino was bullying him because he was alone, but it also gave him a chance, but he was surprised that Wilson Fisk would be here. This is the future kingpin, and he recalled that the woman should be the boss of the hand and the 5 fingers. This woman has lived for who knows how many years. She is an old freak. My psychology may not work here. Chapter 8 Psychology and Micro-Expressions. You are listening at NovelsNew. What Link didn't know was that Wilson and Alexandra were here for a big reason, because his actions in Hell's Kitchen gave them an opportunity. They had intended to cooperate, but it was only a preliminary contact. But when the opportunity came, they naturally didn't want to let it go, so they quickened their pace. It was not appropriate to talk in New York, so they came to Las Vegas and met secretly here. As for Tony Stark and Justin Hammer, they were originally rivals. They confronted each other at a cocktail party in New York, and then came here. It was not easy to set up a card game, especially when Stark wanted to have a master, so Link appeared here. Link tried psychology again, and deliberately lost in the first few games to observe the 4 people. Hammer was a fool, and it was easy to find out his thoughts, and Stark's desire to win was too strong, so it was not difficult to observe. As for Wilson, it was more difficult. He was a person who mixed both black and white, but there were flaws because he was absent-minded. But Alexandra was difficult. This was still an old monster who had lived for hundreds of years, and it was not so easy to reveal his inner thoughts. Stark was unhappy at this time. He looked at Link and asked, are you really a master? Not a drunkard. Winning first doesn't count as winning. Link smiled and poured himself another glass of bourbon. He drank half of the bottle of wine, but he was not drunk at all. Next, I will start to exert my strength. Mr. Stark should be ready. Alexandra on the side suddenly spoke, this Mr. Lin has been observing all of us. Mr. Lin is proficient in psychology. Link did not hide it and said, yes, I studied psychology in college, and now I am a policeman, working at the West Midtown branch. I came here on vacation this time. I didn't expect to meet you all at the poker table. I have some impression of Mr. Wilson, but I have no impression of Mrs. Alexandra at all. I am usually in London. Alexandra said, it seems that I have to be careful now. Mr. Lin has completed the observation. Stark became interested and immediately urged to deal the cards. Sure enough, Link started to win. The more than 1 million that was lost before was quickly won back, and then began to harvest the 4 of them. Only then did the 4 of them show their importance. Money is a small matter, but losing face is not good, especially Alexandra. She thought she did not reveal any flaws, and she didn't know whether the other party really saw through her. Link found a flaw in Alexandra at this time. The other party was very vigilant. Link couldn't see through her before, but he was cheating, so he was naturally killing all around, and now the other party actually revealed a flaw. The calmer this old guy was before, the more uncalm he was now after losing. Winning or losing is secondary. The key is that she thinks Link sees through her, which is not a good thing for her. Wilson was interested. This young police officer actually has such a high level of psychological attainments. This is a talent. Before midnight, the four had lost all their money. Stark asked curiously, "Lin, have you really seen through us?" Link said, "Mr. Hammer is the easiest to see through." Justin Hammer's face turned black, and Stark laughed. Link continued, "Mr. Stark's desire to win is too strong. You don't care about money, but you care about winning or losing." Stark nodded slightly, admitting this. Link turned his head to look at Wilson Fisk. Mr. Wilson is absent-minded. He is thinking about other things. Wilson said, "Indeed, Mr. Lin is very accurate in this. And the only one I didn't see through is Ms. Alexandra. She is the most calm one, more calm than the three of you gentlemen." Link commented on the last person. Alexandra asked curiously, "So I lost in the end?" Micro-expressions. I not only know psychology, but also observe micro-expressions. Human facial expressions are generally difficult to control. Link said, "Especially the eyes. No matter what you see, you will subconsciously react in your eyes at the first time. Then there are facial muscles, especially the corners of the mouth, nose, and ears. Unless you have undergone rigorous training, you can basically see something. And Ms. Alexandra is obviously used to controlling everything. In the end, there are flaws in your heart, with doubts. This is a psychological trap. Everyone knows that I know psychology, but they don't know that I can observe micro-expressions." "Wonderful." Wilson Fisk praised, "It's worth the trip today. I met a master." Alexandra breathed a sigh of relief and asked with a smile, "So we can't beat Mr. Lin?" "No, it's easy to beat me. Just use money to hit it, and then rely on luck to see who has better luck." Link said, "Indeed, if he does this, he has a high probability of not winning. After all, there are 5 people. Of course, he could choose not to follow and wait until he had the biggest hand before going all out, but this would reveal a flaw, and people might not follow him at that time." The game ended early, and no one was too excited to win. Everyone was not an ordinary person, and Link also showed his ability and found a source of funds. He asked the hotel to issue him a certificate to prove the source of his funds. During the following vacation, Link no longer went to the casino, but instead basked in the sun, ate big meals, and watched shows, thoroughly enjoying the vacation. At the same time, this card game was publicized by the casino, letting people know that Link is such a master. The casino didn't take a commission this time. After all, they had bullied Link before. Link was indeed so powerful, and they didn't want to offend him. What if Link killed everyone in the casino? The casino did not send its own masters to avoid losing, which would not look good. With 3 days left until the end of the vacation, Link packed his luggage, ordered a flight ticket, and prepared to go home directly. After all, just playing is very tiring, and the hotel waived all his fees, but he hopes that Link can attend when there is a big poker game. Link naturally did not refuse. This was to give him money, so he readily agreed, but he won't come if he's too young. The minimum price is 5 million, otherwise it won't be worth his while. Returning to his long-lost home, Link was about to start cleaning, but the doorbell suddenly rang. Link was very surprised. He had been away for more than 10 days, but why did someone come to his door just after he came back? Could it be a gunman from the Irish gang? Chapter 9 Recruiting S.H.I.E.L.D. You are listening at NovelsNew. Link took out his Glock 26, came to the door, turned on his X-Vision and looked outside. A middle-aged white man in a suit and leather shoes, with a simple and honest look and a very receding hairline. With such a look, Link guessed it to some extent, but he wondered, where did he reveal a flaw? His super thinking did not find the flaw. He held the gun behind his back with his right hand, then came to the door and opened it. "Who are you?" Link asked with a puzzled expression. Phil Coulson looked at Link's hand behind his back, and smiled and said, "I have something to discuss with Mr. Lin. Can I get my ID?" "Yes, but don't move too fast." Link looked cautious. Although he did not show the gun, the two of them understood each other tacitly. Coulson slowly took out his ID from the inner pocket of his suit with 2 fingers, and then opened it to Link. Link asked with a puzzled look, "What kind of organization is this?" The full name is the Strategic Homeland Defense Attack and Logistics Support Agency, and the abbreviation is S.H.I.E.L.D. Everyone in S.H.I.E.L.D. knows this abbreviation, but they usually use the full name to the outside world. "Can we talk now?" Coulson said, "If you don't believe it, I can show you the credentials of the FBI, CIA, or other agencies." Link raised his eyebrows, with a hint of doubt, and said, "Okay, come in." He made way for the door, but kept blocking his body with the door, looking alert. After Coulson came in, he looked at the environment here. "Mr. Lin, your new apartment is indeed much better than here." Link didn't say anything. After closing the door, he pointed his pistol directly at Coulson. "The living room is on the left, we can talk there, but there is nothing to entertain you now." "It doesn't matter." Coulson went straight into the living room on the left and sat down on the sofa. Link also came in, but he avoided the window and sat down diagonally opposite Coulson. Coulson said with a satisfied expression, "Mr. Lin, we noticed you and want to recruit you." "Noticed me?" Link was stunned, then asked, "What is there about me that is worthy of your attention? Besides, I know nothing about you, and you just came to recruit me." "Of course, noticing you is an accident, but your excellent application of psychology and micro-expressions, as well as your actual performance in the police academy and Hell's Kitchen, are all things worthy of our attention." Coulson's words made Link breathe a sigh of relief, but he still asked, "You should be the intelligence department, right?" "Should be said, we do not belong to the United States, we are a global intelligence agency, under the management of the World Security Council." Coulson said, "We are responsible for many little-known mysterious events. To put it bluntly, we are responsible for the safety of the Earth. I can't say much about this. Our headquarters is in D.C. If you are willing to join, then I can take you to visit. It is not a hidden building. I think you know the Trident building." Link looked as if he was suddenly enlightened, and said, "I didn't know it before." It was not allowed to approach there, but the building was indeed obvious enough. "I always thought it was some scientific research institution. That is our headquarters, but I hope you can keep it secret, even if you don't join us." Coulson then smiled and said, "Of course, now you are a multimillionaire, work is not so important to you." Link was silent at this time. He didn't have a definite answer in his heart whether to join S.H.I.E.L.D. "I don't want to be a superhero, so I am ready to hide myself, but I can't know nothing about it. My goal is an infinite gem. Although I know the plot, what about time? The things in the movie can only be used as a reference, and there are many parallel worlds in the Marvel Universe. I am not sure which universe I am in yet." He doesn't know much about this, so joining S.H.I.E.L.D. as an ordinary agent is a good choice. Coulson is also looking forward to the other party's agreement, because the director is optimistic about Link. Nick Fury has always wanted to improve the combat power of the Earth. After seeing the fleet of the Kree, he is committed to forming an Avengers alliance. His biggest trump card is Captain Marvel, but this woman has been wandering in the universe and only gave him a pager. Nick Fury now has Hawkeye and Black Widow recruited by Hawkeye. The combat power is good, but compared with the alien fleet, it is still far behind. However, it is not bad to have an agent team with excellent combat power. There was originally a Knight Melinda May, but since the last mission, May's condition is not very good and she applied for transfer to civilian work. Coulson is one of his most trusted people, but his combat power is average, but his leadership ability is excellent enough. The reason they noticed Link was because they had been paying attention to Tony Stark, whose father Howard Stark was one of the founders of S.H.I.E.L.D. He was also a genius, and he was the most likely person on Earth to develop powerful weapons to fight aliens. As a result, Link was discovered in this gambling game. His combat power was not clear for the time being, but his shooting skills were really accurate. It's not target shooting, but actually getting a headshot in actual combat. This is the most rare thing, coupled with its excellent application of psychology and micro-expressions. This is a good agent material. If it can be recruited, it will be very helpful in forming a powerful agent team. Link asked tentatively, "Are you really a global organization?" "Yes, you can't fool anyone about this." Coulson was happy, and the other party was obviously interested. "Okay, I'm willing to join, but my current job?" Link asked. "You don't have to worry about this, we will transfer all your files." The two parties are not from the same family, but S.H.I.E.L.D. has great powers and can directly transfer Link away, which is no problem at all. Anyway, Link is not an important figure in the police department, and he is still a problem now. "Then what should I do next?" Link asked again. "This is a confidential mobile phone. Keep it with you. I will contact you after completing your procedures." Coulson stood up and said, "I will take you to visit the headquarters then. You have received police training and also practiced for a year, so you will not be arranged to enter the Agent Academy and start working directly." Coulson added, "You will use some agent skills and equipment at work." Learned. Chapter 10 Evaluation. You are listening at NovelsNew. After sending Coulson away, Link cleaned the room, made himself some coffee, and began to think about everything that had happened since his time travel. His super brain worked well, and there were no mistakes. In fact, as long as he didn't show obvious superpowers, there would be no problem with abilities like X-rays and super hearing, and others wouldn't be able to find them, so he felt relieved, called to inquire about the progress of the new apartment, and then went to bed early. After waiting for several days, Coulson finally called and asked him to go to a building in New York. Link quickly arrived at the location on a motorcycle. After Coulson took him in, he realized that this was the New York branch of S.H.I.E.L.D. Recall that Captain America was thawed here, and then ran to Times Square. After visiting, Coulson handed a certificate to Link. Link opened it and took a look, and Coulson instructed him on the tricks on the certificate, that is the S.H.I.E.L.D. ID, which can be changed into other departments, and the information is all true. Link was shocked. S.H.I.E.L.D.'s technology is really extraordinary, its power is also huge enough. Link feels very interesting. This is too new for him, much more interesting than being in the police station. "Lin, can I call you that?" Coulson asked. "Of course." Link nodded in agreement. "Our idea is that your cover identity is a professional gambler." Coulson said, "It just so happens that you won more than $20 million in Las Vegas. After you came back, you quit your police job and became a professional gambler. Your task is to participate in various high-end card games and be responsible for acquiring some intelligence." Link did not expect that S.H.I.E.L.D. asked him to do this. He asked, "Aren't you responsible for global security? Why are you still inquiring about ordinary people?" Coulson smiled and said, "You don't understand our operation yet, and of course you don't understand the whole picture of this world. In the next few days, your task is to read the information here. After all, to inquire about the news, you need to know more details. For this reason, your director specially approved you to become a level 6 agent, enjoy level 6 authority, and can read some information about 084. 084. Link concealed it very well. This code is the code of mysterious items, most of which are from aliens. You will know it after you see it. Coulson prepared an office for Link alone, so that he could use it to read the information, and Link did read it, and the browsing speed is very fast. Of course, this speed is relative, after all, computers have operation records. If he is faster, it will be suspicious. "Coulson, how about this Lin?" Nick Fury had a remote video call with Coulson. "Not bad, he has a strong learning ability and has accepted the task." Coulson said, "But I don't know how his actual combat ability is yet. In the shooting range, he hit all the fixed targets and moving targets in 10 rings. Well, at least he is good at shooting. When Natasha comes back, I will let her go to the New York branch, and then she will test Lin's fighting ability." Nick Fury said, if he passes, then his combat power should not be underestimated. If the Avengers plan is launched in the future, he can be counted as one. Yes, I understand. Phil Coulson is a level 7 agent, higher than Hawkeye and Black Widow, because of his excellent leadership and execution ability. The two cut off the communication, and Coulson went to see Link's situation again, and found that he learned really fast. Chinese people seem to be good at learning. Just after Link had studied for a few days, Coulson called him to the combat training room, where Link saw a beautiful woman in a S.H.I.E.L.D. combat uniform. Let me introduce you, this is Agent Natasha Romanoff, a level 6 agent like you, and she is also responsible for obtaining intelligence. Coulson introduced her, and then said, she is also good at combat, and she will be responsible for assessing you today. When Link heard it, it was indeed the Black Widow. If it was the Black Widow in the movie, she should have been born in 1984. If it was the Black Widow in the comics, she would be a grandmother in her 50s, Link thought in his heart, but his actions were not slow. He took off the suit jacket issued by S.H.I.E.L.D., tucked his tie into his shirt, unbuttoned his cuffs, and rolled up his shirt sleeves. Then he came to the Black Widow and said, Agent Romanoff, shall we start? As soon as he finished speaking, the woman opposite moved instantly, and jumped up directly to give him a scissor kick, but Link also moved, stepped forward, lowered his body, and directly resisted the opponent's waist and pushed her out. The Black Widow was quite flexible, and adjusted her posture in the air, and rolled on the ground to remove the force, but she knew that Link was holding back, with fast reactions and movements, and he could still hold back. This was obviously a strong opponent, so, she became serious, but Link took the initiative to approach this time, and the two sides started fighting. Link has always maintained a level of equal strength. The two sides used various fighting techniques and fought each other for a few minutes, but Link's physical strength was better, and Black Widow was already sweating. Seeing this, Coulson stopped directly and said, okay, both of you, Lin passed the test. Black Widow breathed a sigh of relief, but she still said, he is better than me. I am a man, and I have the advantage of physical strength. If it is a life and death fight, I don't have enough experience. Link also told the truth. His experience was indeed insufficient, but Black Widow could not be his sparring partner. In his eyes, the opponent's speed was too slow. Link could only continue to learn various fighting skills by himself, and practice these skills to perfection, and become a part of his body. In this way, Link's combat effectiveness evaluation was basically completed, and Nick Fury was very satisfied. This was equivalent to him having an extra Hawkeye or Black Widow. With his attainments in psychology, there was no problem in carrying out the mission alone. Lin, you have learned almost everything, and you can start the mission. A month later, Coulson came to Link and said, your apartment has been completed, move in as soon as possible. Also buy yourself a good car. Link asked, Coulson, I will pay for the car myself. Of course, you are a rich man, and you also prepare your own gambling money, but you don't have to hand it in after winning. A good man is not necessarily a good man. Link rolled his eyes and asked, does this count as paying for work? No, the Bureau provides you with salary, benefits, and treatment, and you earn money during working hours. We know your skills. Coulson said, okay, we will arrange the first gambling game for you.